The father and husband of a dead woman and their 2 children is now the sole suspect in their murder. Just days before, Chris Watts pleaded for his family's safe return after they went missing. The bodies of the 3 victims were later found. Omar Villafranca has more.
In the latest court motions filed today, Chris Watts' attorney is asking for DNA samples to be taken from the 2 girls. What the defense wants to do with the samples is not known. The paperwork also notes that the children were found in an oil tank filled with crude oil and had been there for several days.
Mr. Watts, why did you kill your wife and 2 children?
The 33-year-old is being held in a Colorado jail after he reportedly confessed to killing his pregnant wife Shanann and their 2 daughters, 3-year-old Celeste and 4-year-old Bella. Their bodies were discovered on Thursday on the property of one of his work sites.
It's like a nightmare that I just can't wake up from.
Earlier this week, Watts told reporters he had no idea where his family could be. He even pleaded for their safe return.
It's not something I could ever fathom would happen in my lifetime.
Shanann's brother lashed out at Watts on Facebook. "I just want 30 seconds alone with that heartless psychopath. May Satan have mercy on his soul." Kelly Trippi is a neighbor and says the murders have shocked the community.
When you got the news Wednesday night, what went through your mind?
Shock. You don't know someone at all until you find out that they have done something so evil.
She is still trying to make sense of what seemed like a perfect marriage and home life.
And Omar Villafranca joins us now from Frederick, Colorado, outside the Watts family home. Omar, in the story you mentioned that Chris Watts' attorney is asking for DNA samples from the 2 girls. Do we have any idea why?
That is the million-dollar question. We don't know why they specifically want DNA samples from the girls, what they want to compare them to. That's one of the big questions. That was only one of the motions that they filed. Another motion that they did file was they were asking their own experts to be able to collect that DNA, and the judge denied that motion. New court documents are coming in. We're expecting more to be filed, possibly before charges are formally filed against Mr. Watts on Monday.
Do authorities have any sense of motive?
At this point, no, they're not saying. There's an affidavit that has been sealed by the judge, and we're hoping to get more when that is finally unsealed, to a little bit about maybe what Mr. Watts might have told investigators. We were looking into the family's past. They did declare bankruptcy in 2015. They were about $400,000 in debt, and there was some residents who had also, one friend had joked with Shanann that she had mentioned she was wondering if Chris had, maybe there was some infidelity, but she joked that, quote, he had no game. So she kind of brushed that off. And every neighbor that we've talked to and friend has basically said there was absolutely no sign. In this little neighborhood here, they have a little, like a social group on social media. So if somebody new moves in, they can go and meet, have dinner at their place, and then come have drinks at their place to kind of get to know everybody in the neighborhood. And that woman, her name was Kelly Trippi. We talked to her. She said, you know, we were totally caught by surprise. They were a young, energetic family. They had 2 kids. They had the world in front of them. So when this happened, everybody's jaw just dropped.
You mentioned it in the piece. It's kind of a gruesome detail, but it's important as we try and piece together what happened here. What do we know about where these bodies were found?
There had been some speculation about and solid reporting, but also some speculation about where the girls were found, and we understand it was a well. In the court documents that came out, they were filed this morning and came out a little while ago, they mentioned that the girls' bodies were found in some sort of oil tank. They had been possibly submerged in crude oil for several days, and not to get too gruesome, but medically they thought that there was still DNA that they could collect from those samples, the coroner's office, but that goes to show you that, you know, those bodies were submerged in an oil well.
Okay. Omar Villafranca, thanks so much.
Thank you.